For a new fermenter or adding a fermenter, well, this is the Catalyst by Craft A Brew, and today we're going to put it together so it'll look like this. So welcome back, everybody. So this is the Catalyst from Craft A Brew. I did not pay for it. I want to say it up front. They did contact me and ask me if I wanted to review it, try it out. The main thing they wanted me to do is mead. So we're going to go ahead and put this together in this video. I'll show you everything that's here, and then what we'll do is we'll do a 5-gallon mead, and then we'll see how it works on the mead. So I just want to say up front, this is a 6.5 gallon capacity, a 3-inch butterfly valve. This will also take mason jars, so that way you can get all the trub out of there and you can collect your yeast. One good thing that I saw in their videos that they did was you let it sit the first couple days to get all that trub out of there, then you go ahead and pitch your yeast. And going by that, because we will also do some beers in this, with how I've been making my yeast starters is I've actually been using the runoffs from my beer. So in that sense, I'm making my starter when I'm brewing my beer. So I usually let my starter go like 24 hours before I pitch it. So using something like this will actually help, because the beer's technically not ready to pitch that yeast until all that trub settles out. Then what you do is you put a pan underneath it, and then you shut the butterfly valve, take off the mason jar, put in a new sanitized one, let it collect, then you can go ahead and pitch your yeast. So we'll go ahead and open this. It is a cool box. I think it actually took me a couple minutes to get into because the latches on the back, the two outside ones, are what come off. Then I was thinking there's a third one, but that's actually part of the inside box. So hopefully you guys can see this okay. It does have two lids, then two smaller ones that open. It does come with directions of how to put this thing together. So in the actual box, you are going to get some tubing. Now we'll go over the tubing but for right now I'll just set it off to the side because that's not what we need. In the top of the box is some screws, which obviously you're going to need to put this thing together. So we'll go ahead and put those out. It does include an Allen wrench, so if you're like me, you don't have to go looking over or looking through everything to actually find it. There's another one. Now I don't know, and I'm sorry, I did open the top of this before, but all my screws were outside the package, and I'm guessing this package that's taped to it, they're all supposed to be in there, but they were not. They were laying all over the top of this. I'm just going to throw most of the stuff behind. So here we have a stopper. This is a number 6.5. I think this is a good thing that they do send this with it, because if you've watched any of my other, let's say, fermenters, the reviews, product reviews, you'll know that on the Big Mouth, that does not come with a stopper, and it does not tell you what size. So when you're doing a beer in there, if you don't have the right stopper, you're pretty much in trouble. Now, this is a little clip that will go over the tubing once we get to that, and I think this is a cool part, but like I said, we'll get to that stuff later. I'm just going to throw this. So here's one of the legs. Here's another leg. And here is the actual fermenter itself. I'm just going to set this off to the side right now. a tube in the center to keep everything from rattling around for the most part. It does come with a mason jar that's in here, and this is the ball valve. We'll set this over here also. Here is another part of it. This is, let's say, a funnel that you put on the bottom of it when you're ready for bottling. Now, I think this is a good idea, and that's where the hose comes in. The hose goes on the end of this, and then you can bottle it. And then with the supplied clip, you can clip off the liquid when you fill your bottle. Then down here we do have the lid, obviously. It does have a gasket in there, so it is going to seal, 4-point seal on this. Then we've got the hole for our stopper. So we'll go ahead and make a mess back here, and I'll try and get some of this stuff up here, just so we can see it. So let's go ahead and get these things out of the package, hopefully without breaking anything. There's one, and I don't think I have, let's see if this works. There we go. Nope. There we go. That's one way to do it. I'm not sure why they put zip ties in there. I mean, it's fine, but I don't understand why there would be zip ties in there for holding that together. Let's go ahead and do the other one. Maybe they didn't want stuff to get scratched, but again, I don't think the zip ties are needed. The parts of the legs are, they are pressed or inserted into the stand. Let's see if we can break this one off. There we go. Multi-tool. Okay, so now that we've made a mess behind me, okay, so on the legs, on the bottoms of them, they do have rubber pads, so that way it's not slipping with the plastic. I'm sure it will slip on some surfaces, and on the bar surface is hardwood, so I'm happy that this does have little feet on there. So we obviously have two legs. I'm guessing the screws go through the outside, so you want the holes that are chamfered on the outside so that the screws can go through there. Then it's a clean, it's flush on the outside of that. So per the picture, it's saying that we need to take these and put them in the holes. I don't know if there is. So looking at the pieces, and I'll take a picture and put it up, on the legs that go left to right, the little pegs are offset, so you will have to match those up with the stand itself, unlike what I just tried to do, shove that in there. And same thing on the other side, obviously. You're going to want to line those up. So once you have those in, I'm going to go ahead, hopefully get some of these screws out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and put both of them on there just to get this done. That doesn't go that way. So if anything, obviously this is the first time I put it together, so just make sure that those legs are the right way, or else they're not going to fit in there. Let's go ahead and put our screws in there. And I'll speed this up. Okay, so now that we've got all 4 screws in there, I'm going to move the other ones out just a little, so that way they don't get stuck under there, or I have to go looking for them. Now the top. So I'm guessing the top just pretty much sits right on here, hopefully. Okay, I got the top. I did notice in the top when I was trying to put it on the first time that there are slots up in there, almost V's, that the stand's legs do go into. And I was thinking that it would go like this and this would be turned. But so if you are trying to put this together, put the pair of the legs, the actual U in front of you, and in front of that, then put it down with the Craft A Brew logo facing you, and they'll slide right in. So let's go ahead and put the 4 screws in the top. And it does say in the directions, just to snug them, you don't have to over tighten them at all. So there's 2. Here's 3. And here is 4. Okay, so there is the base. Once it's completely done, like I said, just make sure the U of the legs is facing you. It's parallel with you and not like this, and the top will go on pretty easy. So now what they want, I'm guessing, is the valve to be installed. So let's go ahead and get the jar off. And then we can pull that off. And now we have our butterfly valve. So now if we set this in here, and it is a rubber piece, I think. It feels rubber that this will sit in. It is kind of sticky, so that's good. So it should keep it in one spot. And I'll move this over so I'm not hiding behind everything. So then the valve, how it opens, I don't know if they actually show. Okay. Yeah, in the picture, to me, it's backwards. It's shown it's closed with the handle facing down like this. But usually when you install valves, you want it to go in the flow direction. So we will put it in here like this. And one thing you're going to have to make sure before you use it that is a tight seal. I don't want to strip it or break it, so I'm just going to stop there. So now if we look at it, when we open the valve, obviously it's going to let liquid, your wort, your beer down through there. So here's our lid. So obviously this would go on top, and like I said, it does have a gasket in there. There is a gasket on the inside of the butterfly valve and on the outside of the butterfly valve. So, yep, there's the top. Then for the mason jar, if you were going to use this, then you would just screw that on there, and then you're good to go. Now they do say this system will fit different size mason jars. You just have to be careful. I don't know how big mason jars get or how long, but just make sure you have enough room in here to get the mason jar out once it's filled. Then for the yeast, you can use an 8-ounce one, a small one, and then you should be good to go. We are going to try it out on a lot of different stuff. Then obviously your bung goes on the top. Then you would put your airlock or your blow off, whatever you're going to use in there. But like I was saying, this I think is cool. Once you're ready to bottle, you can put this, you can screw this in here like so, and then you can use the hose to fill up your bottles or whatever you're going to do. Now, I think this is a good system. I can think of a couple things where I'm going to run into problems, but we will wait until we get there for those. But this does have, if we look at the side, and obviously you can turn it however you want it, we do have nice markers on here to show us how many gallons we have. Now, I do think that is better than obviously a bucket or the big mouth bubbler where it's just little rolls. Is your 5-gallon mark at the top of that roll, at the bottom, in the center, plus they're hard to see. So this will be good. Another thing about this, what I'm going to do, so like I said at the beginning, I'm going to make a mead out of this. I'm going to do 5 gallons of mead, and we're going to run it through and see what we get. I don't think it's going to be anything like beer, because usually when you're making a mead, the only thing you're putting in there is nutrients and the yeast. So we won't have to change our collection jar that much. But what you can do now with this, I hope, and we will do one of these, is if you're going to add stuff to your mead. So you could let it ferment in here, and then if you wanted to clean out the yeast, clean it out, and then you can add all your stuff. So if you wanted to add your vanilla beans or jalapenos or chocolate chunks, all that, or if you're doing a sizer or something like that where you're adding fruit, the fruit's probably going to settle all the way to the bottom. So like you saw in one of my my peach meads, that was the one hard thing about it, is all that peach that I put in there, it was hard to get out. Well, if I had this, it would all sink to the bottom. I could collect it out in this, and we could be good. But for this first mead, what we're going to do is we're going to do a 5-gallon mead, but then we're going to use this and transfer it into 5 1-gallon carboys and make 5 different meads. So make sure you stay around for that. That will be starting soon, as I told them I would get this out. So just some other things to run down for this. It is BPA free. It's dishwasher safe. So you can take the actual chamber, put it in the dishwasher, and it'll clean it. You don't have to worry about scrubbing it. It is very scratch resistant. So we shouldn't have a problem with that, I hope. The legs are made of I-beams and a honeycomb structure. It can support up to 250 pounds. And I doubt you're ever going to get 250 pounds in this, so it should be sturdy and you shouldn't have to worry about it. Temperatures in this, technically, if you really wanted to, you could go straight from the boil pot into this. From their website, it says it can take up to 230 degrees. So you're going to be good. Where the Big Mouth Bubbler, I think it's 140 degrees. Also, I see an advantage in this, and it's everything's in one vessel. You can do primary fermentation and secondary. If you've been watching any of my homebrew videos, you will know that I do not like doing secondaries. I will if I have to, but you know, all the bad stuff that can happen when you transfer. You know, if something's not sanitized, you're going to kill your whole entire beer production. Oxidation, too much air in it. This is almost, you know, you clean a new jar, you put it on, and you let it go. There's your secondary. Big enough lid, you can open it to put stuff in. Hop bags, you could put hops in here, and if they're going to settle in secondary, so if you're dry hopping something, especially like a New England IPA, you can just put the jar up there, put your hops in, they're all going to settle after a while, get them out of there, and you don't have to worry about that going through a siphon or something. So I want to say thank you to the people at Craft A Brew for sending this, and we are going to get ready and use it. I will, like I said, I'm going to do a mead, I'm going to do beers, and then we will do an overall review. It will not be sugar coated. Just because I got it for free doesn't mean I'm going to say it's good. I want to run it through its tests, then we'll come back and actually do a full review of this. So head on over there, you can check it out. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, and until next time, happy brewing. Thank you for watching this video. Thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. Leave me a comment down below to tell me what you thought about this video. Also, don't forget to subscribe and share, and hit that bell so you know when new videos are coming out. You can check out these videos over here. Also head over to 31stbrewing.com for everything beer and home brewing related.